Hey, howdy do, creepers. So when you're done here, I want you to head over to the forums at Atari.io or their Facebook page, facebook.com/Atari7800.com. They got weekly chats with giveaways, plenty of resources, trivia and history, and of course all of your Atari needs can be met all in one place. So if you love Atari, or you just want to learn more about Atari, you owe it to yourself to visit. Again, on the web at Atari.io and on Facebook, facebook.com/Atari7800.com. Thanks, everybody. And have you played Atari today?
Creepers and Creeper Geekers. Chris the Atari Creep here. Hey, what's going on, guys? Let me take a sip of my coffee because I'm gonna need it for this one. That's yummy. Hey guys, how you been? Lots been going on, and I took an opportunity to jump on here since I had a few minutes in between the 3,000 things I've been doing to talk about two separate things. And first and foremost, let me just get right out of the way with saying yesterday we celebrated the 30th anniversary of the iconic NES. And the whole reason for this video is if Nintendo were to mean anything to me personally, they represent second chances and change, and that's going to be important for this video. Even though I have an outline here taped in front of the deal, I probably won't go off of it too much, or you might just see my eyes wandering down. But why is this important? Well, because it's a part of life, and we'll look at NES as the console that basically changed the way we viewed, looked at. I know those are kind of the same thing, but not really. The way we viewed the gaming industry, the way we looked at video games, and yeah, they changed the way we play them forever. And if it wasn't for Nintendo, I don't think video games would be where they are today. And I've said it many a times that God bless Nintendo. So I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to talk about, and throw up a topic and talk about change and in a positive light. And just get reacquainted with you guys and let you know what's going on. So first and foremost, if you don't know by now, I'm in the Boston area. I'm in a little town just north of Boston, maybe 10, 15 minutes outside of Boston. I'm actually in the town I grew up in. I originally came here for personal reasons, and it's kind of looking like it might become a permanent thing. Change is funny that way. I wasn't doing too well when I was back in Arizona. I ran into a bunch of bad luck this past year. And I'm pretty sure a lot of it had to do with me personally and my thought process and how I handled situations. Because my brain sometimes tends to go on overload, and we all know that. So let's just leave that be. But an opportunity came to come out here for reasons I won't discuss. And by accident, the universe has thrown shit in front of me. And I'm able to see things a lot differently and make positive changes. And it's working out. And it wasn't meant to, but it's going to. Just in 1 month alone, I've come up here. I've gotten to rekindle with some family that I haven't really talked to in a long time, and that's always great. I've acquired a vehicle. It just kind of fell in my lap. Got a job. Probably shouldn't say that because a lot of people don't know I'm not coming back yet. And it still might be. It's 50-50. But I got a job I'm starting tomorrow. And, new consoles and stuff are coming my way. So, life is pretty good. It's weird that way. Now, why would I come on here and just ramble about my personal life? Because it's pretty relevant to the 30th anniversary of the NES. They were the rise of a dead industry. I'm the Atari Creep. And first of all, what does the name Atari Creep mean? I'm a creepy guy who loves Atari. My first console was one of these, Sears tele-games. I know you can't probably see it, but that's a Sears tele-games. I don't have it anymore, but I did up until, about maybe a year and a half ago when it died. But I played on that pretty much my whole life from 1982. Is when I think we got it. So it wasn't my whole life at that point. But, and around 1985, this little company called Nintendo decided to put up this little ugly box. And it took off like a juggernaut. And it's exactly the best way to describe it, I love all things Atari. I love all things of that era, video game-wise. And, of course, pop culture and movies and such. But video games are what we're here to talk about. So let's talk about fucking video games, Chris. Shut up. Because I need another sip of coffee, right? And a lot of us didn't even realize it at the time, 83, even in 82, but 83, 84 was a bad time for video games, obviously. We've all heard the video game crash. Pac-Man and E.T. caused this crash, when we all know that's not the case. It was just a saturation of product, not enough info about it, and it was a lot of crap. And consumers got tired of it. So here comes this little company out of Japan that used to make trading cards or playing cards or some kind of cards. And they've been, testing the waters with like little, handhelds, a Game & Watch. And they'd had this nifty little system out since 1983 that's done well in their country. And they want to introduce it to the North American area and all that stuff. But we didn't want video games. We were tired of it. We were done with getting ripped the fuck off. Multiple times, you could pawn consoles and then, cartridge consoles and bad games. God, Chase Chuck Wagon, come on. It's a dog food company that made a stupid Pac-Man clone, which I wouldn't mind getting my hands on just to have it, but whatever. And they had the brilliant idea of not calling it a video game console. They called it an entertainment system. The Nintendo Entertainment System. The iconic, the magnificent, the miraculous, the never really working properly, but we still put up with it. I mean, that's amazing in itself. The thing was always fucking busted one way or the other. And we could never get the games to play. We were blowing them. We'd have our rituals and all kinds of hocus pocus and cutting chickens' heads off and shaking our dicks and doing dances just to get a game to play. And there was no guarantee it would continue to play. But guess what? We kept with it. Nintendo took over the planet with this one piece of hardware that we are celebrating 30 years yesterday. They threw a robot in there that didn't work. Only 2 games played with it, if you even want to call it that. And it still took off. People ate it up. Now, I didn't have a Nintendo right away. I don't think it was until maybe 86 or 87, maybe even 87, 88, that my buddy Jared brought his over. We used to play it in his basement, but he brought it over to our place. And just one day just never took it home. And it just stayed there forever. And, I had a handful of cartridges. Whether they were his or I acquired them, I don't know. But going off my list here, we had Super Mario and Duck Hunt. And I think the combination of the Super Mario and the combination of the NES together is what actually did it all. But we'll not worry about that. But Kung Fu Excitebike, Punch-Out, Tecmo Bowl, Tetris, and then later on a couple other games here and there. Those were the ones that stayed in the house, and we played them all the time. My brother and I would play Tecmo Bowl a lot. And Kung Fu, Karate Champ, I had that too, and I don't remember it being as bad as it is. The fucking game's horrible. I've tried to play it 100 times. I love the arcade. I had the same exact move, and then, if you played with me with Karate Champ, after about the second match, you would have known every move I do, and I would have gotten my ass handed to me. That's just how I am with fighting games. I suck, but... hold on. Sorry about that, guys. That's just the way it goes in the Atari Creep video. So where the fuck was I? Yeah, he basically just brought the thing over and it never left. And, I acquired a few games here and there after that list I just gave you. I would rent games all the time for it. And, Nintendo just kind of revived the whole thing. I mean, like I said earlier, it changed the way we looked at, the way we seen, the way we played, the way we talked about video games, and it actually made it a thing. Before that, video games were cool. It was a social kind of casual deal, but this brought it to a higher level. And the NES, if it wasn't for the NES, I don't think video games would be. I don't think the memories would be what they were. Could another company have done it? Sure. I'm sure there was another company out there that had a really great idea. They just didn't have the funds or something to market it. Maybe even Sega Master System could have done it. Who knows? I mean, it was really huge in Europe. It didn't do as well here, even though it was a technically superior system. They just didn't have the titles that Nintendo did. And but could another company have done it? I'm sure. But, Nintendo just kind of latched on with its fangs and never let go. It was in everything. It was breakfast cereals. It was TV shows. It was movies. It was music. It was video games. And notice I said that later on. Yes, the main focus is video games. But they had their hands on everything. Trading cards, coloring books. I mean, everything, backpacks and lunch boxes. And, I'm pretty sure there was a bag of douche somewhere that had Mario's fucking face on it. I guarantee you. And if that exists and someone has it, I don't care what it's worth. Get a hold of me. I want a bag of douche with Mario's face on it. Official Nintendo Golden Seal bag of douche. Wow, that was left field. Holy shit. But, so we had the Nintendo up in the living room, up in my bedroom, and we played it for years and years and years. And they give you the true gravity of how the NES took on. I mean, after I kind of let it go I remember what I was talking about. Video games were just kind of a casual rainy day thing until the NES, and that brought people together. And, Contra. I can't tell you how many times me and my friends would sit there and play Contra all night long. We really didn't do that with Atari. We would play, but, yeah, I mean, now I'm kind of short scaling that because I had to pause for a minute, but, leading all the way up to the N64, I mean, that was, in my opinion, the first social console. 4 ports, games, like Mario Party, Super Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, stuff like that. And obviously the NES couldn't handle stuff like that at the time, but they were building up to it. But they had already established the roots of that, with the co-op games, the beat-em-ups, and the run and guns, the co-op games. And it brought it more from a solo thing to a group thing, even though it was only 2, and you could get the 4 score on the satellite or whatever it was. And, some games supported that, but beating each other's high score, which had always been there, but again, another level. But all right, so going back to what I said before, I remember what I was originally saying is, I mean, the NES and its iconic hugeness. My mom ended up taking it over. Okay, she went out and she got Dr. Mario. I don't know if she borrowed it from a friend and just never gave it back, or she bought it. Just one day, Dr. Mario showed up. Between that and Tetris, my mom played Nintendo. She didn't play Atari. I don't even remember her touching it. I don't even think she carried it into the house, never mind playing the damn thing. But the Nintendo, it ended up in the parlor, which in this area is like a TV room. It's like a mini living room, a den, whatever you want to call it. But, and of course my games were there, so me and my brother would play, Tecmo Bowl when we could. And whatever. But Nintendo basically put life back into home video games. Made them fun. For better or for worse, put a strong hold on development. And yes, a lot of NES games are crap, but the majority of them had a good quality to it. And if it has a Nintendo seal on it, you're going to get something that's decently quality. Especially, that wasn't even English, that has decent quality. But especially if it was their, first party stuff. If it was a Nintendo product, your Marios, your Zeldas, your Metroids, all that, it was going to be fun. It was going to be worthwhile owning, and you were going to have a blast with it. And that's really basically it. Fast forward a handful of years, video games are huge. The industry is up there with the entertainment industry as far as like movies and stuff, if not surpassing it financially. And if it wasn't for the NES, I don't think it could have gotten that far. I really don't. I mean, a lot of people will say that, and it just seems cliche, but should Sega have come along and revived the industry shortly, do you think it would have gotten as big? I don't think so. I think Nintendo just was in the right place at the right time with the right product and the right ideas. And, you know, that little plumber took off like a fucking bat out of hell and just basically imprinted video games at the home in our DNA. And whether you get it or not, you know Nintendo, you know Mario, you know it all, and it's all because of the NES. My mom still has a video game system in her house. It's not the Nintendo. She has a Sega Genesis that my nephew gave her. He found it in his closet when he was going to college, and with a copy of Toe Jam and Earl, complete in box. Not that she cares about that, but... And she still plays video games. And if it wasn't for Nintendo, I don't think the 70-something-year-old lady, 72, God, she's 72 years old, would be playing video games. Nintendo. Change. It's good. And like I said in the beginning, I made a move, and change is in the air for me. I've even been able to acquire stuff. I mean, I sold everything I had except for my Wii and a couple choice things. I was able to get that, and that was this girl I'm seeing. It was her childhood tele-games with their cartridges. I mean, I still have a few of my choice ones, but it was in her basement. She said, hey, let's go dig it out. Her mom's basement. And her mom even said, just take it, go ahead. And there's a Game Boy floating around here. We've already found a few of the games, but apparently there's more. So things are looking up and up, and I'm rising from my ashes as well. I'm starting to acquire stuff. Not that that's the important part. The important part is, you know, the vibe of the video game thing and the soul of it and all that. But it's nice to have a collection, and I'd like to have a nice shelf for you to see behind me, and thus having content. So hopefully soon the Creep will be having pickups. I will probably hashtag, and I hate hashtagging, but with rebuilding of an empire. Not that the Atari Creep had an empire, but I think it's just appropriate to say that. Nintendo created change. My life, inadvertently, created big change. And in both cases, they're positive. And I guess that's basically all I wanted to say. Nintendo, happy 30th anniversary on the NES. Thank you for coming out with such a great product that didn't even work, but we ate it up. We didn't care. And created what we now, I don't want to say revel or revere in, but we celebrate it every day. Every time we pick up a controller, every time we play any Call of Duty or the latest Halo or whatever's coming out, the new Star Wars, Empires of the Wookiees asshole, I guarantee you can trace it all back to a little plumber in a little box that never worked. And guys, that's it for today. I'm just glad to get something up. Yeah, you guys take care, and hopefully pretty soon I'll be back in the game. I know at least two of you miss me. Somebody's gonna fucking miss me. So I'll be back in the game here pretty soon. You're just gonna have to give me some time to complete this transition. And that's about it. So guys, let me grab this thing because it's kind of willy-nilly up here. And now this is the Atari Creep saying, oh, happy Halloween, because I'm not going to have a video up before that, I don't think. So have a safe and happy Halloween. And bye-bye. Happy anniversary, Nintendo.